If you're being told that eating half-boiled eggs will lead to you being barren, would you still eat it? Well, let's find out in this interesting and amazing story of a woman called Ruth. Once upon a time, in the village of Otu, a small village nestled between rolling hills and lush forests, lived a woman named Ruth. She was known far and wide not only for her radiant beauty, but for her peculiar love of half-boiled eggs. Every morning at dawn, Ruth would sit by the fire patiently boiling her eggs, just enough to keep the yolk soft and runny. It was a delicacy she cherished, one she believed brought her comfort in times of distress. But despite her beauty and grace, Ruth had a deep sorrow weighing on her heart. For years, she and her husband, Obinna, had tried to have a child, but her womb remained barren. They sought advice from wise women, herbalists, and even the most respected elders, yet no child came. Whispers began to spread throughout the village, with some saying Ruth had been cursed, others blaming Obinna for the couple's misfortune. However, no one ever connected Ruth's love for half-boiled eggs to her barrenness. No one except an old woman who lived on the outskirts of the village. The old woman, Mama Ozioma, was known for her knowledge of ancient village secrets and spiritual mysteries. One afternoon, while Ruth was on her way to fetch water from the stream, Mama Ozioma called out to her from her little mud hut. "Ruth, my daughter," she croaked, her voice raspy with age. "Come, I have something to tell you." Ruth hesitated but felt an invisible pull toward the woman. She stepped inside the dimly lit hut, the scent of herbs and incense filling her nostrils. "You have been struggling to bear a child," Mama Ozioma began, her sharp eyes piercing through Ruth. "But you love your half-boiled eggs too much, don't you?" Ruth's heart skipped a beat. "What does that have to do with anything, Mama?" she asked, her voice trembling. Mama Ozioma leaned forward, her gnarled hands clutching her walking stick. "There's an old legend, one that speaks of a spirit in the forest who dwells in the yolk of half-boiled eggs. They say that women who consume too many of these eggs risk angering the spirit, and in return, the spirit closes their womb, preventing them from bearing children." Ruth's blood ran cold. "That's just a tale," she stammered, refusing to believe it. But Mama Ozioma's gaze didn't waver. "It may be a tale to some, but legends have roots in truth. The spirit has been disturbed and it demands something in return." Ruth left the hut, her mind racing. Could this really be the reason for her barrenness? She brushed the thought aside, determined not to fall victim to superstition. But in the days that followed, something changed. Every time she ate a half-boiled egg, she felt a strange sensation in her stomach, a twisting, almost as if something was alive inside her, yet refusing to grow. One night, Ruth had a vivid dream. In it, she found herself in a misty forest, standing before a tall, shadowy figure with glowing eyes. The figure pointed a long, bony finger at her, and in a voice that echoed through the trees, it said, "You have taken what is not yours. The eggs are mine. Return them, or you will never bear fruit from your womb." Ruth woke up in a cold sweat, her heart pounding. The dream felt too real to ignore. Desperate, she went back to Mama Ozioma. Her pride now replaced with fear. "What must I do, Mama? How do I undo this curse?" she asked, her voice breaking. The old woman's eyes softened with pity. "You must go to the forest, to the place where the spirit dwells. There, you must offer something in return. something precious to you. Only then can the spirit be appeased. Ruth's mind raced. What could she possibly offer? Then it hit her. The eggs. She would have to give up the one thing that brought her comfort, the one thing she loved most. It seemed impossible. But if it meant she could finally have a child, she would do it. At dawn, the next day, Ruth prepared a basket full of eggs, boiled just the way she liked them. With trembling hands, she walked deep into the forest, her heart heavy with fear and hope. The trees seemed to close in around her as she made her way to a clearing where an ancient tree stood, its bark twisted and gnarled. She knelt before the tree and placed the basket at its root. "Spirit of the eggs," she whispered, her voice shaking, "I give back what I have taken. Please forgive me and open my womb." For a moment there was silence. Then a sudden gust of wind whipped through the clearing, and the tree branches creaked and groaned. The ground beneath Ruth trembled, and a deep, rumbling voice echoed through the forest. "Your offering is accepted," the voice boomed. "But know this, Ruth of Otu, you must never eat another half-boiled egg. For the next time you do, the curse will return, and it will be irreversible." Ruth bowed her head, her heart pounding in her chest. "I will never eat them again," she vowed. True to the spirit word, within months, Ruth found herself with child. The village rejoiced, and Obina's joy knew no bounds. But Ruth could not forget the warning. Every time she saw an egg, she was reminded of the spirit words, and though the temptation lingered, she never touched another half-boiled egg again. Years passed, and Ruth became a mother to 3 beautiful children. Yet, in the quiet moment when the house was still and her children slept soundly, she would sometimes dream of the forest, of the spirit with glowing eyes, and of the eggs she had once loved so dearly. In her heart, she knew the spirit was always watching, waiting, should she ever forget the price she had paid.